Good Wednesday afternoon, everybody. So fired up to be here today. We were just talking before this call about this killer lineup that we have in store for you guys. Associate partners, Ashley and Tyler Harris. So grateful for their leadership, what they provide to this company. Guys, you've not seen all the things that I've been privileged to be a part of, but this company is investing in a heavy way right now on the future and to continue to create an opportunity that is not only duplicatable, but it's going to allow us to reach more people, to reach more agents, to reach more clients. And I've got to say right now that Tyler and Ashley have been the forefront, giving of their time, giving of their dollars, traveling over to Asheville to pour in their expertise. And I think if you pay attention to the leaderboards the last couple of weeks, you will see some explosive growth that's going on in their organization. You're going to see it. I had a little sneak peek of the leaderboards again coming up for today. You're going to see them all over those leaderboards as well. So there's so much excitement going on, guys. We can't wait to pour in. Brandon and Casey today are right down the hallway in our Q4 Rocks meetings. It's the wonderful L10 format that so many of our agencies out there have implemented as well to keep us on track, to keep so many awesome opportunities on track for creating new ways for us all to be successful. And they definitely send their love and would like to say hello to everybody. So before we get kicked off on the builders call, though, I just wanted to say once again, thank you, Ashley and Tyler, for pouring in and for the wisdom that you'll impart on us.
Thanks so much.
We're happy to be here. Fired up. You said Q4 rocks. I agree. Q4 does rock. It's my favorite time of the year because it's not only ending the year well, but the way to have a really good 2023 is to rock out in Q4. And so I love that so much. You want to say anything before we jump in?
Just really quick, I have to say last week's builders call is a hard act to follow.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just so blown away, and I'm proud of Sarah Reinecke for the way that she has led. And I think if anyone missed that call, it's definitely worth a re-listen. So anyway, for what it's worth, I have to say that it blessed me just to hear her fight, hear her passion and her love for her team. So super well done, Sarah. Pass it to you.
All right, guys. Well, again, Tyler and Ashley Harris, we are direct to the one and only, the legendary Dan Young, and also Symmetry Financial Group. Guys, you're going to need to listen real quick. One thing I always say is a short pencil is a whole lot better than a long memory. So take a lot of notes. We got a lot of stuff that we want to get out and not a lot of time to do it. But here's where I want to start. Social media. You either have a love or a hate relationship with it, but the reality is for us to sit here and think that social media is going to become more irrelevant or more relevant, probably more relevant every single day as we move into the future. So I want to put out just a little bit of information in regards to social media, then we'll go straight into building. What you will find is it is because of what we're doing on social media that is directly translating into what's happening with recruiting. But a couple of things that I want to touch on the front end. We act like owners because we own it, right? Employees have rights. Owners have responsibilities. So in regards to social media, what is our responsibility as owners? Okay. So first off, we have a responsibility to Symmetry and to Quility to engage in the content. And what really needs to happen is we need to create a new culture around what social media engagement looks like as an owner in this company. I'll just give you a little example of what that might look like. When Symmetry, Quility, My Quility, Debt Free Life, Thrive, Connect, if any of these platforms post anything, within the first 5 minutes, your responsibility as an owner is to like it, is to comment on it, and you don't have to share it, but if you like it a lot, share it within the first 5 minutes. The next thing is use that content, because that content is being created by Symmetry, by Quility. They're spending a lot of money putting this content out. And guess what? They don't just do it randomly. It's strategic, right? If you see my Quility post something about flights, maybe you should post that. If you see Symmetry post something about a specific area of this business, that's probably an area that Symmetry is focused on. So let's leverage all of the money that Quility and Symmetry are spending on social media by just leveraging that content ourselves, by engaging with it and then using it on our own pages, right? Here's the challenge that I want to bring. It was just 2 months ago. We were all sitting in the Belco Theater. Most all of us were in the Belco Theater in Denver. And we were standing up, screaming, talking about taking this company to multi-billions of dollars and becoming a household name. On the day of national conference, as 3,500 of us were standing outside the theater waiting to go in, Symmetry put a post out on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn of the beautiful picture of the inside of the theater, and it said, "We're ready for you." 3,500 people outside ready to charge those doors. Guess how many comments were on that post? 3. 2 of them were me. So we got 3,500 people standing outside waiting to go in, fired up to create a multi-billion-dollar company, but one of the 3,500 decided to comment on the post that Symmetry put out. As owners, we can't let that happen. As owners, when we see these posts go out and we see that, oh, there's only 3 people that have commented, we need to comment ourselves and then go tell our team to comment. Because what that does is that boosts that content through the algorithm, bypassing the algorithm, giving Symmetry and Quility far more reach and far more engagement. And that's what's going to bring all of us individually more success. If Quility wins, we win. If Symmetry wins, we win. The opposite is also true, right? So the difference between who we say we are and who we really are, we choose that with our actions every single day. These things take 30 seconds, a minute to do, and you have no idea the difference that it could make. So what we love about social media is that it turns what I would like to call our cold market tire kickers into warm market butt kickers. How do we do that? Well, they either are finding us on social media through organic content or paid ads, or we're finding them through all of the other traditional ways, job posting sites, all of that, and then we are sending them to our social media. Why? Well, number one, we control it. You own your social media platform, that's yours. You get to say whatever you want to say, do what you ever want to do. Yes, that is something that needs to be thought through, but it's yours, right? Here's the power in it. When someone goes to our social media feeds, they get to know us. And honestly, they get to know us on a pretty intimate level, depending on how transparent you are and the stuff that you're putting out. But it removes also the urge to chase people. Once they're following me, they're going to see me for the next month, 6 months, year, 5 years. And timing is everything, right? So we're either finding them through social media, and that's, by the way, how we get all of our recruits, 100% of them, or we're finding them and sending them there, right? They're watching culture videos about our agency, about our leadership team, about how we pour into our agents that come on board. They're learning about us as individuals, right? So for us, social media is just an external representation of an internal motivation to pour out ourselves into other people. And people can see that. And then when they get on an interview, they feel like they know us. How many of you think your interviews would go a little better if the person getting on thought they knew you, like felt like they intimately knew all about you because of what they've seen on social media? That might be beneficial, right? So that's how I'll wrap it on social media. We could talk about it for literally 10 hours, but just so you know, help is on the way. We own a creative digital agency. It's the only one in the country that has specifically worked with agency owners and insurance agents since its inception. So help is on the way. But what I love the most about social media, and I'm going to throw it to Ashley, is that the truth is undefeated. The truth is undefeated. And that's really where we want to take our conversation today, and in regards to how we build and possibly why we're getting the results that we're having right now. It all focuses on telling the truth.
Yeah. Awesome. So this is it's a bit of a hard right in one sense, not in another, because as Tyler said, a lot of our recruiting, all of our recruits do come through social media, aside from those that are direct warm market recruits. And I think one of the things that's pretty cool about social media, unless what you're putting out is just fraudulent information, which I would not recommend, is that people do get to see pretty transparently the good, bad, and ugly. They get to see your everyday life. They get to see your thought process, your belief system. It can learn quite a bit about you, and I think start deciding whether or not you're the kind of person that they would want to align with. And so by the time they do get on an interview, chances are they have already pre-decided that. And so most of the time when our recruits come to the table, there's already a decision that has been made. That being said, I want to back up a little bit and talk about clarity from the beginning, not just what we say once we're in conversation. I think the clarity piece of our recruiting process starts, for us, it started in our decision with our staff and fellow leaders. What kind of culture did we want to create, and understanding that, yes, leaders create culture, but the people that we add on to the team will have a pretty large hand in whether or not that culture stays the same, is damaged, is strengthened, and that sort of thing. And so, there's kind of been this conversation of do you cast a wide net? Do you cast a small net? Is it quantity? Is it quality? I think the answer, you guys, is both. But the way that we look at it, we decided to get extremely clear on who we wanted to partner with. And I believe that clarity and honesty in a lot of ways go hand in hand. It's kind of funny because Arden, our daughter, we've been having a lot of conversations with her lately about telling the truth. And interestingly, what she's learning, and possibly what some of us need to relearn, is that a partial truth is actually a total lie. And so I think that the more clear we get on who we want to attract, number one, that's going to inform our recruiting message. And it means that the people that actually hear our ads, see our ads, and are attracted to us initially have a very clear picture about who we're looking for. And guess what? They begin to self-select at that point in time. And in that sense, I guess you could say it's a narrow net, because we have a fairly narrow picture of who we want to recruit. Why? Because we know the type of person that performs well here. And to be honest, that's a fairly specific type of person in some ways. And those ways are primarily character ways, not background ways. And so from a character perspective, it's a pretty narrow net. What that allows us to do, though, is once we identified who we were looking for and really crystallize that and figure out what it takes to attract that person, now we can scale. And so for us, it's not a small quantity number. It's a pretty large quantity number, but it's a fairly narrow definition in regards to who that kind of person is. Again, primarily based on character, work ethic, integrity, initiative, gratitude, that sort of thing. And I think we could all get around those things. I think the importance of that from an honesty, clarity perspective, you guys, this business is one that's built on relationships, and relationships are built on trust. The moment trust breaks down, the moment your business ultimately will begin breaking down. And so if there's not a cohesion, if there's not a congruence between the kind of person that you're saying that you want to build your team with, and the kind of people that you actually recruit and bring into the team, I think both to the new recruit as well as to your current team, there's a lack of integrity there. And there's a gap between what you're saying you want and what you're saying you're committed to. and what you're actually doing, potentially because you want recruiting numbers to be high, or potentially because there's a desperation and a scarcity mentality that you have around recruiting. The reality is there are enough of the perfect people out there, perfect for this business, not perfect people. There are no perfect people, but there are enough people out there that are a perfect fit, but you will not attract them with the wrong message. And in fact, I think high performers, high integrity people, people that take initiative, people that practice gratitude, people with an abundance mindset, they're generally going to be turned off by a watered down big net message because they want to win and they know what a winning culture looks like and feels like. So I think clarity and honesty in that part of the process is really, really important. The second thing, main point that I would say is I think there has to be extreme clarity and honesty around what we are recruiting to as agency owners or as developing leaders, as brand new agents. As we are recruiting people, I think there's generally three things that we're recruiting to. The main thing that we should be recruiting to is the incredible opportunity that we have here as part of the Quility family, and the amazing company that Symmetry and Quility are, right? That by far should be the main thing, because if we're recruiting primarily to us, we immediately become the lid and we're going to stunt our efforts. So, where the company and the opportunity exists, the reality is both of those things are good enough on their own and standing in front of their own reputation. They don't need our embellishment. They don't need us to make them sound better than they are, because they're already incredible. And so I would say, let the system and let the culture and let the founders and let the track record speak for itself, and be very, very careful that you don't add to something that's already excellent in effort to make it sound better, because I think you're going to lose credibility and lose trust and ultimately lose agents. But I think the two other things that we do recruit to, and kind of maybe a subcontext, is ourselves as leaders. We recruit to ourselves, and we recruit to our teams and our systems and our individual cultures and the support that we offer, or the training style that we have, or what have you. And I personally believe that this is one area that we all can level up, because it becomes very easy. If we're honest, it becomes very easy to communicate things about ourselves that we may not follow through on. And again, I think because this is a relationship business, and because relationships can only be established on trust, the moment that we oversell our involvement, our level of support, the moment that we oversell our own leadership style, or even our leadership paradigm, if we try to make it sound something that it's not, the reality is 1 week, 1 month, 6 months down the road, when the pressure's there, or you're shooting for a promotion, if those things are not, if there isn't alignment there between what brought them in, and what was promised, and then what is followed through on, and what's delivered, it really begins to wear down the trust within your culture. And I think that the developing leaders that you have will tend to underperform, and the newer agents that you have are more likely to leave. And so at the end of the day, let what's true about you be the thing that you talk about, and let what's true of your team be the thing that you talk about, and don't overpromise on either one of those things. And when you evaluate that, chances are, I know there have been, and I'm sure are for me currently, ways that kind of holds up a mirror, and it shows me places as a leader that I need to work. Because if it's not something that I could confidently say to a new agent about the organization, or about my agency, or about our leadership, but I would like to say it, then it's probably something that I need to work on. It's probably something that I need to develop, but I shouldn't communicate and I shouldn't promise until I'm actually there, until I actually have developed. And so I think, guys, again, just an encouragement to be very, very mindful of that and be extremely clear. I think it'd be kind to you. It's going to be kind to the agents that are coming on board, and it's going to be kind to the team that you currently have to have absolute integrity and absolute alignment between who you say you are and then what you're willing to and do follow through on. And the opposite is also true. I think when all of those things are in alignment, it's pretty incredible what happens culturally. People fight to be a part of it. People fight to serve you and the team. People fight for their own promotions. People fight for other people's promotions. And I think that's what we're seeing. Last thing, and I'll end with this. The last thing that either one of us would want anyone listening to think is that what's happening in our agency is largely because of Tyler and myself. 100%, we have worked very hard, but what you're seeing is a team that's committed to something really special. And that team is made up of at least 50, 60 people in the base shop alone that are champions of this culture, champions of one another. And our staff, very, very much the same, very committed to the team and seeing results and seeing people win and seeing people grow and progress. So we're so grateful for our team, for our staff, and super grateful for this company and the example that's been set for us and the things that I just covered. I'll pass it to you.
So what we're really talking about here, if we were to give this talk a title, it would be building on truth. How do we build on truth? And I want to reemphasize something that Ashley said and maybe say it in a little different way. When it comes to recruiting, what gets them here has to be what keeps them here. Repeat, what gets them here, whatever you use, whatever you say, whatever you describe that gets them to make that decision to come here, your follow through on those things has to be the reason why they end up staying here. Okay, so let me start this off and clarify it for a few of you with a little story. So when I was in middle school, these folks would show up at the school and they would talk about this church youth group. And I'm a Christian, I'm a believer, I love Jesus, but this is how they pitched it. Hey, come to church youth group night. We got pizza, we got cake, and we got a lot of cute girls. As a middle school kid, I was fired up. I'm like, I'm in, sign me up. I go, all those things were there. I'm like, this is exactly what they told me it would be. Then I came the next Wednesday. There was some pizza, there were a few girls left. And then I came the next week and there was no food. It was just the boys and they were talking about stuff. And I was like, wait, hold on a second. What happened, right? What brought me there didn't keep me there, right? It sounds funny, but that's what a lot of us are doing inside of our agencies. We've got this training, we've got this support, we're going to be hands-on here, we've got access to this and that. It's super simple. You're going to be up and running so quickly. Then they get here and they're like, oh, wait, this is hard. Like, oh, did we forget to tell you that? Yeah, by the way, it's a whole lot of hard work. It's a very simple system. So how do we translate that into our recruiting practices? Number one, Ashley mentioned it already. We don't need to oversell this opportunity. My goodness, this opportunity is incredible and it gets better every single day. The whole point in your recruiting conversations, and allow this to be your permission to take a little bit of that sense of urgency off of your voice and out of your brain when you're entering into recruiting conversations. The whole idea that this is an incredible opportunity today means that it'll be even better tomorrow, next week, next month, and next year. That's kind of how this works, right? You have to take that sense of urgency off. The second that you do, they will become more urgent to join. And I can't explain it, but that's how it works. The more I tell people to take their time, the quicker they want to come on board. The more I tell people, hey, take a week and think about it. Like, make sure, the quicker they come back every single time. So we don't have to oversell this. One of the biggest catalysts outside of our team, where I feel like we're able to demonstrate this the most clear and impactful, is in our second interviews. We do our second interviews in a group setting, and I absolutely love it. But in this group second interview, it's an hour long. We paint a very real, a very clear picture of what it's going to look like if they were to decide to come on board, right? So what does that look like? Well, number one, we really dig into leads. right? Not just like what kind of leads do we have? How amazing are they? We get into the details of what does it actually look like to be resourced properly, to not only be set up for success when you come on board, but to be set up for fulfillment because of your lead strategy coming on board. In that process, I am telling them repeatedly, hey, if the idea of spending $200 to $400 a week on leads right now is like, I don't know if I can do that right now. Number one, I completely understand. When I got in the industry 9 years ago, I had to borrow the money from my best friend to get licensed, which you guys know, it's like $100. So I'm very empathetic of what it's like being financially strapped entering into this industry. But what I tell them is that after 9 years of observing agents coming on board into this industry and some succeeding and some failing, what I know is this: every single person is going to face some type of discomfort. It's going to be uncomfortable. Even if you've been in insurance before, you come on board here, new scripts, new systems, new people, new leaders, there's going to be a little bit of discomfort required. The difference between being resourced properly and not being resourced properly when you come on board is the difference between being uncomfortable and suffering. And I tell them that's what not a single recruiting person, hiring manager, agency owner will tell you, but that's the truth, and you need to know that. And so back to the sense of urgency, if right now you feel like, I don't know, take 2, 3, take 6 months, get some savings put to the side, then come on board resource properly, because not only are you going to have quicker success, you're going to have a lot more fulfillment and enjoyment of the daily process of this business, right? We go in detail of what full-time versus part-time looks like. The age-old question, do we just focus on full-time or do we still keep part-time? Like, yes, yes, and yes, all of them. But you have to be clear on the expectations. We lose very few, if any, full-time agents. We lose part-time agents because it's very easy for part-time to turn into spare time. And like any system, but specifically this one, this thing don't work if you just pick it up and put it down when you feel like it, right? You have to be fully engaged in the system to see the results. And we all know that. But what do? We tell people, yeah, like you're going to, right? That's not setting clear expectations, but we go through in detail how we're going to sit down with them, build a customized time block schedule around their other career. Because guess what? If you're doing something on top of your full-time job, number one, I have massive respect for you. But number two, it's going to represent a sacrifice somewhere, either to your other job, to your family, to your social life, maybe to your sleep habits, right? But anybody can do something for a season. Anybody can do something for a time. But what is that? 30, 60, 90 days. How much money do you need to see coming in before you're willing to make that jump? And guess what, guys? None of that is based on how we feel. All of that conversation is directed by them. It gives them the power, and then it gives them the ability to take and harness that power and use it in their own life. So they're telling us, hey, here's what I need to make. Great. Here's how many hours I have. Awesome. We all know on this call that we know all the numbers in between, all the conversions, the close ratios, shows ratios, so we can create a plan that works for them, but they need to direct us on what this needs to be for them. Lastly, we are going to take them step by step from saying, yes, I want to come on board, through pre-licensing, licensing, contracting, onboarding, training, selling their first application, and getting paid. We are extremely clear as we go through that. So there is no question. As soon as they say yes, they know I'm going to get an email. This is what it's going to say. I'm going to have to review that, sign it, return it. Then I'm going to get these emails. This is what I have to do next. Then I have 10 days to pass my exam. Then as soon as I get done with that, then we're going to start contracting. We get on fast track. Then we're going to go through steps 1 through 4 of our onboarding process. Then we're going to get you on this call, this call, this call. Then you're going to get launched on a launch call. You're going to schedule your first appointment. And then let's play that out. What is that first appointment going to look like for you as a brand new agent with no insurance experience? Here's how it's going to play out. Here's how we're going to equip you with which product to use. Here's how we're going to help you in the appointment if something happens, because guess what? People don't tell the truth sometimes as clients. I'm super healthy. No, they're not. So here's what you do if you roll into that first appointment and all of a sudden you get caught with a surprise, and here's how we're going to support you. And then ultimately, here's how you're going to take that application, submit it, and then get paid 2 to 4 business days later. Guys, I'll end with this. Throughout the entire recruiting process, we're building belief, right? Belief is built on trust. How do you get people to trust you? You have to tell the truth. But you know when the real belief is built, like first interviews, second interviews, the recruiting job post verbiage, the videos in between, all of that's great. The real belief is built when a commission is deposited into their account. That's when they know this is real and they know they can go out and do this again, right? So the biggest key to recruiting is converting to new writing agents. Until they have written an application, I don't consider them actually on board yet. Because I know in their mind, they're not actually on board yet. Until they have seen the deposit, they know they can do it and they can scale from there. That is what it takes to get the belief behind someone that can actually scale a real business here. So it's high alert. It's code red when an agent comes on board until they get that first application. So it's the only thing that we're focused on. It's the only thing we're worried about because it's the only thing that matters to the actual agent that's trying out a new career for the very first time, scared to death, having a lot of people talking negative in their ear. We have to get them a win quickly and build from there. But the only way we do that is by being very clear on the front end with our expectations, very clear on the front end what they're going to receive by coming on board with our team. And then lastly, following through and making sure that everyone knows that the words that we spoke in the beginning was truth because of what has played out over the last 30, 60, 90 days and as they begin their career here. So we're building on truth. And man, we encourage you guys to do the same.
I want to stand up and give a standing ovation. I mean, I encourage you, Tyler and Ashley, to check out the chat. There's a couple questions you can answer, but check out some of the comments too, and how clear and concise you guys were. It just was an absolute clinic on how to be leaders, how to speak clearly, how to give great walk away things that you can put into action in your recruiting, in your building, in the mentoring of your agents. Tyler, so much gratitude to you on the social media bit that you opened with. Casey was standing over my shoulder over here listening to you and doing a standing O himself. It's so much opportunity out there, guys, and Tyler and Ashley get this. The founders are investing more than they've ever invested in previous years. We've heard them talk a lot about this in the past, but just to pull back the curtain a little bit, over the course of the next 6 months, we're on such a significant timeline in Quility/Symmetry's history, guys, that it's really hard to me to describe how important these things are, like social media presence. How these investors and these individuals that are looking to become partners with us in our journey of disrupting this industry, and those same individuals are laying in their bed or laying in their hotel room at night, looking up and figuring out which companies it is they want to align themselves with. And when you see a strong social media presence, when you see top-notch products being rolled out, you see the software that we're developing behind the scenes to empower our agents, all these things come together to really scream a powerful message that this is a wave you do not want to miss out on the ride with. And I just can't thank you enough, Tyler, for the clarification on that piece. And it's something that we certainly need to do much better on. I know I felt that. 3 comments on the way into the Denver. I wasn't one of them. So I need to do my part and act as an owner as well. And I appreciate that call to action. And Ashley, you know my heart and appreciation for you and everything that you've always done for me personally, and just knowing that you come from a place and speak of truth in your walk of life and how you lead and how you show up as a friend to me. So just grateful for you both, and excellent job. Thank you so much, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Wonderful job, guys. Well, we're getting ready to get fired up here and bring in Ryan Miller in just a couple minutes. We have a very exciting national call as well. We're going to get kicked off with the video in just a second, guys. But as I said, right down the hallway, Brandon and Casey and all of the chiefs are in a meeting. They're currently going through our L10 and Q4 rocks planning. Ditson, I don't know about you, but it's pretty nice to have a little bit of quiet time around here with everybody concentrated in one building. What you thinking?
Very true. Very true. It is nice. It's good to see everybody walking by, happy, waving,
Yeah.
and then it's peaceful.
I know we had some wonderful lunch today. I know I had a nice little rice bowl with some chicken, but I just walked down there to go check in on Brandon and Casey, and they were having a taco bar. So,
What?
you know, apparently we didn't get invited to the taco bar.
That's right.
But Jason, I know, buddy, for everybody out there at this point has probably seen Jason Ditson, incredible individual, senior vice president of field sales. Has really been involved in many aspects of this business, guys. He has been a true godsend to many departments, to many of you all that he has jumped in and helped get your agency to the next level, or sometimes even problem solve situations with carriers. So much gratitude. But Jason, just from your perspective, buddy, thinking about Q4 Rocks, thinking about the investment that you see behind the scenes here in the home office in Asheville. Talk a couple minutes about some things you're excited about, where you see this company going.
And we really invested in the right places. You know, we invested in the right places. I know everyone on this call has seen a lot of the transformation in our digital space with Switchboard, digital leads, and watching the conversion. It's created some record weeks, right? And I can only continue to think that it's going to trend that way. Outside of all the great things happening, it's just flat out fun, right? Just being not only just a part of it, but seeing it all happen. So right before this call, back on a call with Jeremy Miner, reworking these scripts, utilizing the NEPQ system. And once again, too, I do want to thank Ayers Newsom for really pouring in and giving a lot of time as well, helping out in this process. But we just have some phenomenal things coming down the road. It's a lot, right? It's fire hose. We've talked about it at conference, but really you got to just take a deep breath, look what's out there, follow the process, follow your upline in the direction they're giving, and we're going places. I'm really excited to see after everybody gets out of these Rocks meetings, what we're going to accomplish next here to finish off the year.
Yeah, just extraordinary vision casting that's going on. And we can't wait to share more, guys, with so much has happened since conference. Like when you really put in perspective what was announced and rolled out at conference, and just in the couple of short months since then, to see just how much more has transformed, how much closer we are to some goals that we thought were 2 to 3 years out, to hear some of the momentum and buzz out there in the industry. We're starting to gain attention, guys. You're starting to see things like recently featured in Forbes magazine, talking about the culture. The response from that article was overwhelming. There's so much goodness going on. So before we jump into the leaderboards, guys, let's kick it over right quick and start with the video, if you will.
Ooh, love videos.
This is all they gave me.
Come on, just a little more. They give you nothing.
It melted.
When it comes to selling life insurance, it's all about survival of the fittest.
It's left.
Is there anyone out there?
Where resources are scarce, bare minimum training is provided, and leads are terrible, if there's any at all.
IMOs aren't just going to help you be successful. You're on your own.
Why are you doing this to these poor agents? Symmetry Financial Group takes a very different approach. We invest heavily into our agents and don't leave them to fend for themselves with the industry's only value-based leads program, advanced level products and solutions, best-in-class technology and support, and our award-winning culture.
I don't understand why everyone thinks this is so hard. They literally gave us everything we need.
Symmetry Financial Group. Experience the Symmetry difference.
I don't know about you, Ditson, but I don't think there could have been a better video time for the topic that Tyler and Ashley just discussed. And guys, Jason Ditson's done a lot of recruiting. He has constantly had his calendar filled recently with individuals trying to make a decision. They've seen what we have going on here at Quility, trying to make a decision whether they want to come to the wholesale track, whether they want to come on the flagship, the SFG path, the opportunity to truly create time and money. And I think Ashley and Tyler couldn't have said it any better, that it comes down to the truth, right, Ditson? It comes down to, you do not need to oversell the opportunity we have. It's going to be very apparent to those that are the right fit, that have the right mindset and skill set to be successful here. And I think it's just important on us to make sure we're focused on doing what it takes to provide them the experience that this system can provide. So anything there, Ditson?
No, you're so true, man. We have gotten a lot of folks coming on board looking to start off on the wholesale side, and after just conversation and showing them resources and assets that we have on the Symmetry side, it becomes a no-brainer. Wholesale's out of the question, because when it comes down to it, you need assets and resources to grow. Beyond that, you also need mentorship. So I don't know any other organization out there that provides the kind of mentorship and the folks that we have here at Symmetry. So it's been phenomenal for sure.
Yeah, man. Fired up, guys. So we're going to jump into it. I've got a new computer today. So Jason, if you will, make sure that I get this done properly here.
Man, I trust